The video you're about to see was not recorded now, it was recorded in February 2020, just before COVID-19 hit Rotterdam. We had the first cases here and there was no lockdown. And I had an exhibition with my students at WORM in Rotterdam, which is a very cool place you should definitely check out if you're not from Rotterdam. Anyway, I had a course about human-centered design at the Design Academy in Eindhoven, which is a very, very cool academy to study in if you're into building products, like physical products. And my students had to build synthesizers. And my challenge was, or the challenge I gave myself was to take them from a point they don't know anything about electronics or synthesis to a point where they understand what synthesis is, what electronics are, to an exhibition that they would actually be able to explain to the world what they've actually done. And then we built a website for it, and there's like a lot of interesting stuff like that to make videos about their products, and it all looks pretty cool. Anyway, I did not publish this video until now, and now when I'm thinking about how I'm going to be running this course in the next semester, I am facing a lot of different challenges. Like, how do I teach all this when I'm not really in front of 30 people in class? Because these are like really coaching sessions and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But I'm pretty excited about it because this whole idea of teaching online is something that I just started out now with YouTube, and everything that I'm doing now is shifting towards the online space. And I get a lot of insight from other teachers and I get a lot of insights from the online space. And I wanted to share this video just before I am creating this new course that's going to be like this. We will need to teach students that don't know anything about electronics, that want to learn about electronics and want to know about synthesis, how to go through the complete learning experience and then end up with an exhibition. How this exhibition will be, I'm not sure. How we're going to be teaching them, I have no idea. But it's going to happen and it's going to be definitely interesting. Anyway, enough of me talking. Enjoy this video. There are a bunch of things there that I took as learning from this course, from taking this challenge. I hope that other teachers can also gain some insight from it and some other students can also learn from it. Anyway, enough of me talking. Take two. Last week we had an exhibition here with my students from Design Academy. It was a course that started in September and ended up with an exhibition at WORM Rotterdam. And overall, I think this was a huge success. And I wanted to talk about this because I think that education today is quite different than even what it was 10 years ago. And this has to do with technology and what I think that students really need to learn. It's not like I have all the answers, and definitely there are things that are going to be improved, but this was actually quite successful. We had most students manage to build synthesizers on their own, and most of them managed to really realize their own ideas, and it was very little that we actually did as teachers. We were two. I was facilitating the whole thing and designing the whole structure and making sure that students have a structure to follow. And Arthur is like a magician with technology, so he could build anything and he would guide them to where to find information when they get stuck. So there are a few things that made this course work, and I wanted to go through them because I think it's interesting to document and it's interesting to talk about, and I'm curious what other teachers and what other designers think about this. So feel free to comment below and let me know what you think. It's about inspiration, it's about solid facilitation and boundaries. It's about self-learning and allowing students to really do their own self-learning and not really giving them all the answers or teaching them all the answers, kind of like hinting towards where they need to go. And it's about real-world experiences. So rather than looking at an assignment as this is for school, let's imagine that this is actually a project, real-life project. Someone gave you the opportunity to have an exhibition, and they say, well, we are organizing an exhibition for synthesizers, DIY synthesizers, do you want to participate? And you're just a student, but you say yes. And what are the challenges that you're going to be facing, and how would you overcome these challenges is what this course is about. It started with, I have no idea what a synthesizer is, and it ended with a product video, professional photographs of the instrument, and an exhibition where you would showcase your work and really think of how you would get people to know you and look you up online and develop your career and network through an exhibition. That's basically how it's done in the real world. Why don't we do the same thing in the academy? And I felt like in the academy, we do sort of like half of the work. We say, let's build synthesizers, for example, or let's just, I had an assignment, digging and diving was the subject, and I could do whatever I want with it. That was really amazing, but then it ends with the result, and that's it. And the result is evaluated by the teacher, not real world, not people experiencing and giving you feedback or just getting the reaction of people, I think can be quite valuable for someone who is just starting. And I think that this was one of the things that made this course a success. So let's start with inspiration. The way that we all work, the energy, the place we get energy from is inspiration. We look at something, we get excited about it, we think about a subject, and we feel like this is really important to fix, this is really important to do something about this, or there is a certain technology that I'm really, really into and I want to play around with. So this space of inspiration lasts for a certain amount of time until you hit a wall. As soon as you hit a wall, then you get stuck and the inspiration goes down and you need the support. And it's just about these kind of brainstorms that you could have with someone that has a little bit more experience. So this was one thing with inspiration that I think was quite useful. The second thing is boundaries. Students knew that they had to build a physical thing that people will be able to play with. Might be important to mention that the course is about human-centered design. It's not really about building synthesizers. It's about human-centered design, and the importance, like what I wanted to get through with the students is how do you build an object that people can understand and work with? And a synthesizer is something like this, and it's also it's a device that allows you some creativity. Some students took this to a direction that is completely abstract. Some students came with physical products that looked and felt like real products. I was really impressed that some students even were able to create a product that was complete. So you could connect your speaker to it, you could connect headphones to it, you could connect a battery and it would just work like a battery supply. They even thought about the packaging. Everything from beginning to end was really well thought. Some other students really felt like they want to explore what sound even is, and they looked at the project from a completely different perspective. So in that sense, the whole idea of defining boundaries was not necessarily to tell them you have to build something that I have in mind. I had no idea what they're going to be making, but at the same time, it was clear enough that it was pretty obvious that they will have at the end a product that makes sound, that people can interact with the sound in some sort of a way. So inspiration, boundaries, and then solid facilitation. So facilitation is also something that I do with clients as well when I work as a designer and I do like design sprints or anything that has to do with designing and figuring out how to solve a problem. It's all about understanding where the problem is and how can we move forward. So the way I see facilitation, my role as a facilitator is to make sure that we have everything to overcome challenges. And the way that we did that is we had a Notion page. I started working with Notion because of a student of mine that showed it to me, and now I'm like really hooked on it because it helps me organize things fairly easily. And I just fed it with all the information students might need for self-learning. So we had videos about an oscillator, and I mean, I'm not going to go into the detail of like a technical detail, but everything that they needed to learn about what is a synthesizer and what makes a synthesizer was there on that page. Everything that they had to learn about electronics was there on that page. And lots of inspiration for different instruments that I found really interesting were all also on that page. So they could look at all these things to gather their information and figure out how to get started. Then the second thing that I organized for this was to bring a technical support, which turned to be way more than technical support, because Arthur, the guy that worked with me, is a brilliant creator that can do a lot of stuff. So for him, it was coming into class and talking to students about their concepts and trying to figure out not only how they move forward conceptually, but can we actually solve this technically? And he gave them the direction they needed to build their product and realize it. This is one of the things that I realized that we have a lot of problem with at art academies, that we let go and we let students fail perhaps too much. So the technical part is always like, you know, it's really important that your concept is going to work, but if it doesn't work in real life, if it really doesn't work at the end, your thing, it's not really a big deal. And I think that it is. If you can cross some boundaries to get things to really work, you can learn quite a lot about this. And I think that this is a critical moment for a student to understand where they hit a wall, and it is a technical one, and there is a way around it. And it's probably not something that they are aware of, and they will get a chance to try and explore this by themselves. But they will also have the support to really make sure that they get to the result at the end. And it's quite rewarding for them also to see. You're working so hard on your concept, you really want to see it alive. It's like you're creating something from nothing, and then it's just a concept. It's kind of a disappointment, I think, at least for me. And I felt like by facilitating the course in such a way that they had lots of resources and technical support when it's needed, it made this project more round, and it allowed us as a class to fill this whole room with instruments last weekend. So inspiration, boundaries, solid facilitation, and then the last thing is something I think we actually pretty much failed with, in a sense, time management. One of the things that I realized that students are really struggling with is how to control their time, how to manage that creative beast that they are. And it is something that I think that as creators we really need to learn how to work with ourselves, because we get really excited about things and then we get very frustrated when things don't work, and we plan, we're like, yeah, at the end of this week I'm going to finish this. And it doesn't work. It doesn't happen, because it takes so much more time than we plan, because we are just getting started. It happens to me now. I'm planning a video that I want to make, and it takes me an extra week to release it, because yeah, I am a perfectionist and I want to get things, and I'm not saying it as a compliment. I'm just saying that as creators we really want things to work, and when they don't, it really frustrates us. And I think that learning how to manage your time is a really critical thing. And this is something that I want to give perhaps workshops on in the next course. I want to try to create, and this maybe takes me to the next part that I think could be improved, to create workshops that students can join if they want. So the course is completely free. The way that the class was ran in the last semester was that we just walked around and talked to people. So it was very much coaching. They could write their name on a list, and every day they could speak to us once or twice. Next semester, what I really want to do is to construct workshops around, at the beginning, technical stuff like what is an oscillator, what is a synthesizer, for instance, if that's the subject we're going to be working on. Then technical things like electronics. So how do we work with electronics? What are the basics of electronics you might need to get started? These kind of workshops students will be able to join if they want. If they have the experience already and they don't really need the support, they can just do it on their own and just work on their own table. But they also have the opportunity to join. And I think that all students lack the control over time, and this is one of the workshops I'll probably bring to class, that there are some technical workshops and there are some like professional, being like a professional artist kind of workshop. Also, one of the things that we did with the course was they had to finish a video of the product at the end. So think about the concept of your product and then give a good representation of it in a picture and video. And these kind of things should also be more as a workshop. Students can join a workshop about storytelling with photography, storytelling with videography. So all these things, they should be injected into the course, into like 12 p.m. We have like 2 hours of a workshop and students can participate and they know what kind of workshops they're going to be getting. And that's it. I'm really thankful for everybody that participated in this. And I wanted to share this as a video, and that's actually the first video that I'm releasing on this channel. That's pretty exciting because I am going to work hard to bring more content like this to this channel about design education and about design in general, because as you can see, I get pretty excited about this stuff. And I wanted to see if this can go through the lens, that thing in front of me and that microphone. So if it is, I'm going to do this frequently, so you should subscribe. And if you felt like this was me ranting for like too long, then you should definitely not subscribe, because I'm going to continue with this and share a lot of insights about design and art and education and like my personal opinion and experience about stuff. Thanks for watching, if you did all the way to here. Ciao.
So I built this little instrument which is called suiju, which is in Latin the meaning of going up and down, because you can play this instrument by pulling sticks up and down. And basically it's made with oscillators, and it has 5 oscillators which interact with each other.
I thought like making a toaster would be really fun, but at the end like we ended up with a microwave.
Each of these is
The light resistant thing.
it's one half on black and one on spin.
It also works when you just play with the door itself as well.
The sound was looking a bit like Star Wars sound, so then I decided to make a robot.
It's like an effects pedal.
Right.
It's 3 effects in one. 10 FO, 3 in 1.
I built this great instrument here, and what you do is you change this little dial and it adds a really cool tremolo. You can change discs to get different patterns.
I wanted to make a very easy to understand instrument. The way it works is very simple. You pick it up and you move it around.
5 different environments within this one instrument, and you as a musician, with the composition that I have made, you can slightly alter and distort the music.
I built a door synthesizer. Synthesizers are really hard to understand sometimes. They have a lot of knobs and things and they can look really intimidating. But then a door is something that basically everyone can understand.
It's like a controversial project about object movements, I'd say. But it's also just about playing with the body. And it's just how pleasure sounds.
And the goal was to make it small, compact, and also headphones compatible, so you can play it on the way, on the go, with a power bank only connected.
And so yeah, basically you record your voice and you can play with it.
It's basically a distortion box.
Echo is basically an instrument that responds to distance. The volume changes the pitch. Technology was super new for me. I had no experience at all, and with making this sort of artsy instrument, I got to know so much in such a short time, and I think that was really awesome.
Sound spinner. This is a music wheel. Press the button and turn the wheel. Move around these little panels. There is 4 different notes that you can play. It's a sequencer. You play different notes, and then you can, with these potentiometers here, you can change the pitch of the note, and you can change the speed with this one, with this potentiometer, and then you can play with also the length of the note. So for example, if I touch once,
This is an insect. In the future, eating the sounds means recording the sound, and digesting the sound means playing the sound. Literally, the sound getting distorted.